access to see who's vaccinated against COVID-19 and who's not in schools.
Yeah, today, local assembly member Dr. Akilah Weber introduced a bill that would allow school districts access to COVID-19 records in the state's immunization registry. They were already able to see immunization records for things like measles and mumps. The bill would expand that to include COVID-19.
CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal joins us live with what exactly this means for parents and also what critics are saying here. Kelly.
Yeah, Heather and Carlo, for parents, this means it could mean at least less paperwork. Instead of having to get a paper copy of your child's COVID vaccination records and handing that over to the school could just access those records online through the state immunization registry.
This makes it very easy for the school districts. It makes it easy for the families. And so we know who is out there, who has their immunization, who needs the immunization.
And that was Assembly Member Dr. Akilah Weber, and she introduced this legislation, which she says will do a number of things. If families move across the state, they don't have to worry about keeping paper copies of their vaccine records because they'll be accessible to districts in the state's registry. The bill also requires by law that doctors and public health centers actually input vaccination data into the immunization registry, which is something that was not law before. Now, on top of that, she says it will prevent people from using fake vaccine cards to get their child into school. Now, again, just to be clear, districts already had access to immunization records for diseases like measles and mumps. This bill just adds COVID to the list. Now, critics say this bill is premature.
So this is just kind of another example of the state really getting ahead of themselves and being too sure of themselves and overreaching again.
And that was Sharon McKeeman of the group Let Them Choose, Let Them Breathe. Her group is currently in a legal battle with the San Diego Unified School District over the vaccine mandate. Now, I should point out that at the end of all of this, parents can opt out of this registry. They can apply through the state to have their child's records not be shared through this registry, so that is certainly an option for parents. Carlo and Heather.
Kelly, if this law does in fact pass, signed by the governor, how soon could it potentially go into place?
Well, if this law passes, they are expecting that it could go into effect as early as this next school year. But as with COVID, you know, a lot could happen between now and then, so we'll certainly just have to wait and see.
All right, our Kelly Hessedal reporting live. Thanks, Kelly. We hear control is such a big issue during all this, and ultimately what she said at the end, parents will have control of who has that access, so that's built in.
Yeah, if they're not comfortable with it, they can opt out.
They can opt out.